Rack and roll shadows of Centris. Waking up to your face being buried in downy feather pillows covered in silk is amazing, especially when those pillows are the gigantic breasts of a woman utterly smitten with you. It's a tough life, but Amadi knows how to handle it, for he is... The buzzing of his communicator cuts off his inner monologue and he turns over to reach for the device. It's actually buzzing in Morse code. Dot dash, dot pause, dot dash dash dot R and P for Reginald Pike. "Oh, don't get up, it's too early in the day," Abigail mutters even as he grabs the communicator. "It's Reginald, he doesn't call unless it's something serious," he says, sitting up fully, and she rises next to him with a sigh. "Reggie, what's happening?" I... Reggie tries and fails to form words. "Are you hurt? Are you being held captive? Do you need rescue?" Amadi demands, gathering his limbs under him as he gets ready to spring from the bed and start a mad dash for his pants, his holster, and the air bike he's got on the landing pad. "I need to know something," Reggie asks, sounding like he's staring down the barrel of a gun. "Tell me, what's going on?" Amadi demands. What are the chances of a woman getting pregnant after one night of sex?" Reggie asks, and Amadi goes still as his mind resets. Considering that we're still somewhat in a first contact scenario, we don't know. But unless protection was used, the odds are always at least not zero, he says with a roll of his eyes as he starts scooching back down. "What do I do?" Reggie hisses into the phone. "Baseball bat?" Amadi jokes, and there's a choking sound on the other end. "Fine then, a coat hanger." "Will you take this seriously?" "Reggie, relax. I understand, or at least I think I do. You've spent your whole life thinking that you'd never have sex. You were flat out disgusted by the idea. Then cancer took care of that before it returned. And now you're young, healthy, and more virile than you ever were. You're going to have to come with grips over potential fatherhood. Besides, do you think there's even the slightest chance in hell that the mother won't adore the idea of having the exotic alien man's child?" Amadi asks, and there's a pause. "What's going on?" Abigail asks, and he holds up a finger. "Amadi, just tell me, and tell me honestly, that my feelings that I failed myself on a moral level are wrong. Please? Outside of people with doctorates, you're the smartest guy I know." Reggie begs, and Amadi sighs with a shake of his head. "Reggie, she was willing. You were willing. So far, that's you in the clear. You weren't saving yourself for anyone. You weren't promised to anyone. You were and are free to do as you want. If you want to keep doing that, woman, until you have a child for every member of your family that you've lost twice over, then have at you. If this was a one-time thing, then it was a one-time thing. You get me?" Yeah, I guess I do. Thanks," Reggie says, sounding relieved even as Abigail starts glaring. "Next time try calling when I'm not cuddling my own girl, all right?" "Oh, sorry." "I'd say no problem, but from the looks of it, Abigail is plotting someone's murder. Better make sure it's not mine," Amadi says ruefully as she crosses her arms and doubles the glare. "Sorry. Bye." "Bye," he says, hanging up the communicator and putting it to the side. "Only something serious?" she asks testily. The man is struggling with massive changes. Most of his life, the idea of getting stabbed was more appealing than sex. Then he finds out that a hereditary disease is soon to end his life, so he takes a shot at a regenerating coma. He wakes up with urges and desires that he learned all his life to consider disgusting. He wakes up with desires and needs that make him feel dirty. And he just caved in to those needs, she realizes. Yeah, the way the galaxy is, most everyone, him included, saw it as inevitable. But knowing that something's coming doesn't mean that it's suddenly all right, Amadi remarks, and she uncrosses her arms, prompting him to scooch a little closer to her for some cuddles. He needed to unload on someone, and there's only a couple people he's close enough to unload on and feel safe. Well, we're already partially up, so Abigail begins, and Amadi grabs her around the waist and pulls her into him like a down-covered pillow. "No, we're up too early," he says, and she titters in amusement as she cuddles up into him before they drift off to sleep again. Several hours later, the door is slammed open, and both Amadi and Abigail wake up with a start. Amadi grabbing a gun he had hidden but not quite revealing it before he gets a good idea on what the hell's going on. "Abigail, I need." "Oh, wait, you can help me too." "Jacqueline, what the heck? What's so important?" Abigail asks as Amadi slowly points the gun away from under the sheets and slides it under the pillow again. Shooting the Speaker of the Council is likely something that would prompt Admiral Cistern to strangle him for being an idiot. "I need to know how to snag one of those," Jacqueline T. Camped, Speaker of the Council, declares, pointing directly at Amadi. Basic flirting? My man here was eager to jump into my arms," Abigail notes. "I suppose it's time to get up. A startling like that got all the juices running, and there's no way I'm falling asleep again." Amadi notes as he bites back comments about nets and dart guns. Don't want to give her bad ideas after all. He slips out of the bed and uses a twist of axiom to bring out but keep his gun hidden. A quick go-around for his clothes, and he's dressed but smelling of bird. "There's just something about the way they move, isn't there?" Abigail asks. "What was with some of those movements, though? It was strange," Jacqueline notes. "He's hiding something. It's cute. I don't know what it is, but he won't let me see it and grabs for it when he's nervous." Abigail says, and Amadi snorts. "It's not much of a secret. I just don't show it because it could be legally considered an act of coercion to wave it around. But it's military procedure to have at minimum your sidearm in reach at all times." Amadi notes calmly as he cinches his belt up. "You have a weapon?" Abigail asks. "At all times. You never know what might happen. Centrus has proven to be all kinds of fun in both terrible and wonderful ways. I've been attacked by the Umbral organization. At least one cult of anti-human lunatics have shown themselves, and we've caught an entire army's worth of spies and possible assassins trying to get onto the Dauntless." Amadi explains before reaching into his shoulder holster and drawing the now visible pistol. "It's just a basic sidearm. Nothing to get excited over," he says before tucking it back in. "I see. Tell me then, Mr. I am Amadi Nenge Adegoke. Mr. Adegoke, I need to know what your admiral likes. Competence, loyalty, duty, grit, innovation, wisdom, practicality. What does he like in his woman?" Lady Tycanped snaps at him. "You'd best ask him that. I try not to consider my commanding officer's romantic life," Amadi says, and there's a sound of frustrated disgust from the official. "But if it helps any, he was recently divorced, his wife left him, took as much of his wealth and resources as she could, took the children and left him with nothing but his career to stand on. So he's very career-oriented." Wait, what did he do or say to? Why would any woman just, Abigail asks, and Amadi shrugs. "It's not my business. But the courts and legal systems back home heavily favor women. Most can divorce their husbands for no reason at all and take most of what they own while demanding further monthly payments if they take the children as well. It's a very abuse-prone system," he says with a shrug. "But how does that help me seduce him?" Jacqueline demands. "Why are you so fixated on him?" Amadi volleys back. "He's the best of your kind. Highest rank, most accomplished, most skilled, therefore the best. A bit of a regenerating coma and he'll be young and hearty again. He'll make the perfect husband for a lady as highly regarded as I." She preens, and Amadi makes no attempt to hide the distaste on his face. "What's wrong?" Abigail asks him, and he sighs. "Just that with an attitude like that, your cousin's only going to insult the admiral and not seduce him." Amadi notes casually. "What?" Lady Tycanped asks in a stunned tone. "Look, lady, he's been screwed over once already. There's a term back home, once burned, twice shy. You act like he owes you something and all he'll see is the worst of his ex-wife, Amadi remarks before glancing to Abigail. So are you just going to stay in bed all day or do you want to do something? I did promise you a full night and the following day. Oh my yes. I know a wonderful set of gardens that are just to die for. They're woven into the architecture of Darenhold Spire. The entire spire is a work of art. Abigail chirps as she bounces out of bed to reveal the fact that she's only got her silk bra on. What? Don't ask us to kiss and tell, it's rude, Amadi remarks as he slips past Lady Takanped. I'll get some food ready. Any preferences? Anything without your evil human spices, Abigail answers back. That doesn't narrow things down, Amadi protests. I know, Abigail giggles as she quickly pulls out a change of clothing. Take your time. I'm going to have a quick preening to get all my feathers straight. So the trip's tomorrow then? Amadi teases. I'm not that bad. Jackie here is, though. Abigail deflects and Lady Tycanpad puts a dramatic hand to her chest as if wounded. My own kin turned against me and, yes, that's fair. I do try to look my best, unlike some slobs. She shoots back at Abigail. You two do realize you're having this argument when I haven't even fully considered anything more than some deodorant and a quick face wash for myself, right? Amadi adds. You're the one with naturally occurring cologne. You don't need to wash that much. Abigail counters before walking into the attached bedroom to begin her preening. Oh yes, I do. And it may be cologne to you, but damn if it doesn't reek to me. She's already preening. She can't hear you. Jacqueline calls to him. Oh, well, maybe you can offer a suggestion beyond keep the things you can't eat out of it, Amadi asks, and she makes her way into the kitchen as he's scanning the interior of the fridge. Well, I don't understand you humans, she says after a few moments. Humans don't understand humans. There are entire scientific fields based around asking the singular question of what the hell is wrong with humanity. Amadi dismisses before pulling out a container with small sausages. Are these a breakfast meat? It's lunchtime, Jacqueline remarks. That wasn't a yes or a no. Yes? Good. Better cooked or raw? Cook them. Cook them all the way through, you crazy monkey monster, she says, and he nods before putting it on the counter. What more? It's a small container. Not to mention there are a few varieties here that might go well together. Amadi remarks silently, thanking Koa for getting him into cooking for himself. It was a great way to get closer to his rabbi's girls, as the diner was not only family-owned, but having him help out in the back had been a panty-dropper of a move. Not that he needed to do more than uncinch his belt to make them excited.